Your customers are your most valuable asset. So if you run a business that stores customer data, that is, personally identifiable information, including credit cards and social security numbers, you have to protect it, especially if you want to stay in business. Barracuda Networks has more than 150,000 customers worldwide who trust our security and storage solutions to do just that. Keep them open for business. Reclaim your network. Visit barracuda.com/open to learn more.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
We have made it to Monday, and we welcome you to the program, and I look forward to visiting over these next 4 hours or longer in case we need the extra time. Good afternoon. Hope all is well wherever you are, and welcome to the final week of February. It's a short month, in case you didn't know. A lot to talk about today. The NFL Combine makes big news in Indianapolis. We'll check in with how the latest from up there is. Charles Davis will join us in a couple of minutes. And the SEC basketball race heading toward the home stretch. Number of guests today. We'll go to Kentucky and join the always knowledgeable Matt Jones. Seth Greenberg from ESPN will join us to get his take on college basketball, and Carol Lawson as well. Big game in the SEC tonight. Women's, that is. We'll get her take on that and other things as well as we welcome you to the week. 855-242-7285. As I mentioned, the Combine continues. It's about to wrap up in Indianapolis, and the debate is pretty simple. Mariota versus Winston. We'll get Charles Davis's take on that. Meanwhile, over the weekend, Kentucky wasn't a big surprise that Kentucky won over Auburn. Auburn, one of the lower division teams in the SEC, but it was a surprise how easily they handled the Auburn Tigers. Meanwhile, some other interesting games. Georgia finally gets back on winning ways, but then again, they were up against Alabama, which always finds a way to lose in the final moments. This time the game went into overtime, and Arkansas with two big games this week in the SEC against A&M, and then on the road Saturday. We've been talking about it for weeks, and we'll continue to talk about it on the road against Kentucky. Kentucky has a midweek game that we'll also get into a little bit as we move on. SEC seems to be having a better year in basketball, but not according to the AP poll. Very little respect in a poll that, quite frankly, doesn't matter other than in a beauty contest. And John and I were talking about this earlier. You seem really exercised by this AP poll.
Well, I think that the SEC, unfortunately, is living off last year's reputation right now. We're almost a year removed from the tournament last year. Let's look at what these teams in this conference have been able to do. I talked about a team like LSU. Doesn't even receive a vote in the top 25. That's a team that took Kentucky to the end of the ball game. A team, if you're able to do that, then you should be considered as one of the top 25 teams in the country, especially when you have 19 wins.
They also lost to Auburn at home.
Well, you can. Every team out there has bad losses in this day and age in college basketball. Another team that didn't get a vote, Ole Miss. I mean, you have a kid in Stephon Moody who's straight up lighting it up right now. Yeah. The kid's averaging 25 points this past week. And what you know most about the NCAA tournament is, and Connecticut showed this last season, guard play means everything. And Ole Miss has one of the best guards in the country. Arkansas stays pat at 18. No respect there as well. 22-5 for the Hogs, although have some big games this week to pick up the pace.
Yeah, I tell you what the SEC needs is its own network. Therefore, it could have a vehicle to promote its basketball teams in a more. Listen, I understand your point, and I'm not even disagreeing. I'm somewhat nonplussed by the AP poll in basketball. I realize it comes out every week. And I realize board sportscasters report it on the local news and on the national broadcast, but I don't think it has much influence. I don't think it has any influence on the men's basketball committee that will be meeting in 2.5 weeks in Indianapolis.
You're right. And here's my issue, though. Valpo, Rhode Island, Stephen F. Austin, those are teams who are getting votes in the top 25 poll, and you have good teams in the SEC with not only good players, but some would consider star players in college basketball, just not getting any love whatsoever.
Yeah, well, we'll try to change that this week. We'll start campaigning and make it happen. Meanwhile, last night was also the Oscars. Did you get a chance to watch? I saw most of it, not all.
I spent the day yesterday. I watched Birdman in the morning. I heard that was the favorite for the Best Picture, so I took that one in. Quite an interesting film, to say the least. I did enjoy it, but the Oscars were okay. I feel like there was 2 hours there in which we were handing out awards for a lot of behind-the-scenes type work, which I do have respect for, mind you that. But I think the American public was kind of tuned out for a little while. What about yourself?
I mean, I always watch the Oscars. I watch the beginning, and then I get stuck. No matter what the awards show is, when I turn on, it's the best costume designed by by an Auburn fan or something. I mean, it's just always it always drives me crazy. And I had not seen that many of the movies, so I wasn't quite riveted. I've seen one or two. I haven't really been much of a moviegoer lately. Frankly, I haven't gone out of the house since the Sugar Bowl.
Well, the one problem is you have the guy, I believe it was Boyhood, spent 12 years making the film. Yeah. Tough 12 years to put in and not get recognized on the big night.
Yeah, what I don't understand is, but my only comment on the Oscars, so Birdman wins Best Picture, but Michael Keaton doesn't win for Best Actor. It's a strange collection, but we're not experts, but we hired Jim from Tuscaloosa to cover the Oscars for us, and this is Jim's report. Jim, what do you have?
You got that right, Paul. I was on the scene, on the carpet, trying to get interviews. Ross, what's his name? Ross? What's the guy's name?
Billy Crystal, whatever his name is. Neil Peter Martin. What's his name? Neil Peter Harris or something like Neil Patrick Harris. By the way, he was very good.
Ross,
I did see him in Gone Girl, though.
Ross that used to do the stuff for Jay Leno on the Tonight Show. He kept pushing me away and getting me. I couldn't get the good interviews, but I got something, Paul. You're talking about saving the show. You're talking about me saving the show. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I was never so startled as to see Lady Gaga literally steal the show, take the show by storm, and save a dull, otherwise horrible show with excellence beyond. I couldn't believe how good she is. I'll tell you what she did, Paul, and I promise you, and you can write this. She literally equals the best Super Bowl performance I've ever seen from Whitney Houston in '91. You know that one. She did the same thing for the Oscars last night. She was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe how good she was.
Yeah, I did see her. Now, she was quite good, a little better, I thought, than Tim McGraw trying to
I like him too, though, because it was a poignant. You talk about poignant.
Yeah, it was. But
poignant song written by Glenn Campbell.
It was tough to watch.
Yeah, well, not really because he was so good. I thought it was great. I thought he sang it great.
I didn't mean it like I had to put my. I mean, it was tough to watch, knowing the situation is what I meant.
But seriously, did you see Lady Gaga?
Yes.
Did you not think she was brilliant?
She was. I mean, listen, she didn't become what she ended up becoming
without talent.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing people don't understand when they see someone like Lady Gaga or any of these people, for that matter. You have to have something going for you to get there.
But Paul, I'm telling you, the transition that she made by singing that type of music. I mean, I've not heard anything better than that. Like I said, since Whitney Houston, the woman, what she ought to be doing now is singing that kind of stuff on Broadway plays in the movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem is you probably can't quite make as much money on Broadway as you can touring the world.
Well, I'm just telling you that I think I know excellence when I hear it and see it on ball fields, on
and now
stages.
Here's Lady Gaga in the leading role in Pippin.
Say that again.
No, it's kind of a insider Broadway line.
I'm just telling you, man. That's what you hired me for, to do the big heavy duty leg work, and I couldn't get a hold of her. She was swarmed with people after the show.
Well, I'm sure she knows you, Jim. I would think Lady Gaga's a big fan of this program.
I would hope so, Paul. And if she's not, I think we ought to get her on the interviewer. Yeah. I mean, how about an interview and then even a little song maybe in the studio? That would step things up. That would get
that would make this show as good as it was when Vickers was on.
That would get the attention of even Lee Fitting. Maybe he can get her to replace that moron Auburn guy for the Alabama guest host on game day when they come to Tuscaloosa. Just get Lady Gaga, Lee. That'd be a good one. And I'll promise you, I'll show up if you get Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Lady Gaga on the same stage. How about that?
You got it, Jim.
All right, thank you.
Jim going Gaga over Lady Gaga. Were you as impressed with Lady Gaga as Jim from Tuscaloosa?
I thought she was great. Sound of Music, though, maybe not during my time, more during Jim's time.
With the sound of music. I mean, come on. How do you go wrong singing that?
You can't.
I mean, it's a classic.
Hey, speaking of the Oscars, we have some. Remember we nominated some Pauly Awards a few months ago. We're finally going to get to reveal the winners on this afternoon show. Best Supporting Role in a Finebaum Feud. We're going to have Best
Mark
Picture.
Mark finally come back from Florida?
He's here, which is good. So that'll be fun this afternoon. I don't know if Jim, though, he may have been snubbed. I don't know if he's up.
Was Jim nominated?
He was nominated, but I've seen the.
So Jim's going to kind of be the. Yeah. I thought Boyhood was about Jim's career.
I don't know. I just was in 1965 when The Sound of Music came out, and Jim must have really enjoyed that.
Well, I will tell you, being a wee bit back then, everyone. I remember in second grade, whatever grade it was, we all got in buses and we went to the theater and we saw Julie Andrews and company. It was Christopher Plummer, I think, was the other person in The Sound of Music. It was great. I mean, a woman making her way through the Swiss Alps, singing, of course, instead of eating chocolate and Swiss cheese.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
I think what we ought to do here is maybe get a collection up and send Jim to the Lady Gaga cheek-to-cheek tour with Tony Bennett, because Tony Bennett certainly knows a little bit about singing the show tunes from yesteryear, and we'll check the schedule. And you think Jim would like to go?
Are you kidding me?
Man.
I just picture Jim just, singing every word to Born This Way and just losing his mind at one of the Lady Gaga concerts.
I would love to see, first of all, Tony Bennett, mid-'80s, one of the iconic singers of all time. I can see Jim coming on stage with Lady Gaga and Tony when he does his signature song, "I Left My Heart in San Francisco," and maybe, I don't know. I just think that would be cool, and we'll send an SEC network crew with him.
He had the best voice in the state of Alabama until that tough throat surgery derailed the rest of his career.
Forgot about that.
Sorry
yeah,
to hear.
I'd never heard that story before, but have now. Let's get back to the phones, and the Oscars certainly on the mind. Maybe Jim ought to just host the Oscars next year, because I think I don't know if Neil will be back. Linda is up next in Argo, Alabama, on this February afternoon. Linda, how are you?
Hey, Paul, Cutie Pie, and John over there, Stud Muffin.
What's
I just
up?
wanted to talk about the Academy Awards. I give you Academy Award to you and John for the best sports talk radio and live on air on the SEC network. Cool. And just for your looks alone, hey, I tried to get through Friday, but I couldn't get through. I was watching the weather. But anyway, that Lady Gaga, I want to echo what Jim from Tuscaloosa said. She was absolutely fabulous, and if you've seen it, Julie Andrews came out there, and I read her lips as talking about how fantastic she was. Lady Gaga, she was absolutely incredible. She was. And I just wanted to echo what Jim said. And that Sean Penn that came out there and gave, for the movie of the year, his little smug, arrogant thing, he says it doesn't matter how much a movie made, at the box office, which American Sniper has made $300 million at the box office and counting, and he kind of had that smug look on his face and kind of gestured toward Bradley Cooper, So I was disappointed in that, and American Sniper won, what was it, some kind of sound edit. That's the only thing.
Well,
that
you
they won.
something though, Linda. Let me say this about the Oscars, and I thought it was a little bit better than usual because it wasn't like watching the Democratic National Convention or whatever. But that's not the same crowd that the two of us live around or live with. I mean, it's a different world, and I mean it's fun to watch one night a year, but you really learn a lot during the red carpet when you find out that without a script, most of these actors can't string a sentence together.
Right. Yes. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. I really did. I figured that Birdman was going to get Picture of the Year, and I was disappointed that J.K. Simmons, is that his name, that he didn't get a award for Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor. Not him, but
he did.
I'm talking about.
By the way, I thought his speech was pretty. I thought his speech was pretty funny. The guy that won for Best Supporting Actor. Didn't mention his agent. Didn't mention anyone. He just talked about his family, which was smart.
Right. Yes, I enjoyed that. But I was talking about the Birdman, the man that was in Birdman. I can't think of his name. Yes. And I want to echo what you said, that he didn't win an award for Best Supporting Actor or Best Actor, but yet the Birdman won for Best Picture.
He didn't win one for Batman either, so he's okay.
But anyway, I just wanted to say one more thing in reference to what I said Thursday about me being a wild woman. I'm not. You could relate to this, Paul. Maybe John couldn't, because he's probably too young, that good-looking thing. But anyway, I'm no Blanche Devereaux off the Golden Girls. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I'm not promiscuous. I'm just wildly fun. Well, I have a great outgoing personality, and I just love to have fun and, wild in that way, but not in a promiscuous way. You know what I'm saying?
There's a difference between having fun and being promiscuous.
Yes.
And then there's a difference between being promiscuous and having fun.
Right. Absolutely, and I want to give a shout out to Debbie. I feel so bad for her. I didn't know that her son got murdered, and I want her to let her know, Debbie, if you're listening, you're in my thoughts and in my prayers with this cancer, and you're going to be all right, girl.
Thank you very much. That was a chilling story the other day that Debbie told about what some of the battles that she has been through. Pam is next up in Gadsden, Alabama. Hey, Pam. Pam, you there?
Yeah. Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. I was just going to tell you, if Jim can't go to see Gaga, I'll go. I thought she was magnificent.
Yeah, maybe we can send both of you together.
Do what?
Maybe the two of you can hook
I
up
don't know
and
about
go.
that. I fly solo.
We're trying to help. We're trying to help Jim out.
Oh, well, bless Jim's heart. What I wanted to say is I've been listening a long time, and I haven't been able to get in contact with you since you moved to South Carolina. And I'm so glad I got through today, but I did. I enjoyed the Oscars. I thought they were great. And Lady Gaga, I changed my opinion on her 2 or 3 years ago. She did a 60-minute interview, and you could just tell that she's really down to earth and a very bright lady. And her voice is just amazing. She is an amazing singer. And like you said, Julie Andrews, she just came out and she was so appreciative of how she did her music, and I really enjoyed the show. Of course, it's long every year.
Yeah, no, it is. And thank you very, very much. Well, let me say this. I mean, The Sound of Music, the music to that is at the top of the list of show tunes and music of all time. So, I mean, you'd have to work hard to do damage to The Sound of Music, but she didn't. Debbie is up next as we continue on this Monday afternoon. Hey, Debbie.
Hey, Paul. How are you and John doing?
We're doing great. Thanks, Debbie.
First off, I want to start off telling Linda thank you, and I appreciate her having me in her prayers. That meant a lot to me. And then I want to say, I didn't watch the Oscars. I'd like to see the dresses and stuff, but then it's too long. I can't stay up that late. But did you see Kid Rock Daytona 500?
I did not.
You don't do racing.
No, I saw the end of the race. I didn't see the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, Kid Rock was
So Kid Rock was
he was absolutely great. I mean, he was but I know Lady Gaga, I'm a fan of hers too, but you know, I like all that good old rock and roll.
Is there anything more American than Kid Rock at the Daytona 500?
No, not at all.
Oh man, it was absolutely. He had them going. I'm telling you, it was great.
You got the bald eagle soaring.
And the only thing that would have been more American if Junior had won.
Oh yeah, I am a Junior fan, and I was pulling for him, and I was pulling for Jeff Gordon too, cause since
I felt badly for Jeff. I mean, his last year and
then he gets knocked out in that wreck.
He's in such a good spot. I mean, the poor guy has to go back home and.
Yeah.
Can he ever get over it?
But he has that beautiful wife and all that money and those two beautiful kids. Yeah.
I made the mistake,
Debbie.
I know some people that know Jeff Gordon, and I said, so he's married to a model, right? And the person looked at me like, are you kidding? What do you mean a model? I said, she's a supermodel.
Yes, from New York.
Yeah, this is what I love about NASCAR. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, the two biggest guys in NASCAR, they live across the street from each other, and they're both married to supermodels.
How do we get into NASCAR?
Because Jeff introduced Jimmy to his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a big NASCAR fan.
Hey, I'll be racing for the Hendricks Motor Team next year at Daytona, so maybe I'll meet a supermodel. Thanks, Debbie. Good to talk to you. We'll take a short break. I wonder how Joe Gibbs Racing feels about dumping Joey Logano. Good move, Joe. That's why the Redskins have been a mess since you went back and left again.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
And Larry is from Missouri on this Monday afternoon.
Hey, Mr. Finebaum, how you get along today?
What's up, Larry?
Hey, great. Hey, I tell you what, boy, it's a good thing you didn't send old Glenn down there to cover the Academy Awards. I mean, that'd be a boring show covered by a boring
Lady Gaga.
Hey, as far as old Teddy, I mean, sending him to the Oscars really, too, about like sending old Ronnie Millsap to a Victoria's Secret photo shoot. I mean, he wouldn't know what he's looking at. I guarantee the last movie he saw in person was something to do with starring Charlton Heston, and that's been a while back. Hey, as far as Lady Gaga, I mean, I ain't all about her. I'd rather dig up Lady Bird Johnson. And they're hurt. I ain't no
Lady Bird's been gone a while, though.
Yeah, about 30 years. Hey, now Kentucky, I will have to say I watched that game a little bit Saturday night. They ran through Auburn like a freaking junior high team. I mean, that was embarrassing. Bruce Pearl could have had 50 timeouts, and he'd have used every last one of them.
Yeah, I didn't think last week was one of Bruce Pearl's better weeks. Getting run out of his own gym by Alabama, and then just being humiliated by Kentucky. I realize Kentucky is the best team in the country, maybe one of the best of all time, but come on, I mean, at least make the game interesting. I mean, most people hadn't even taken their coats off yet.
Yeah, I mean, I was out eating. I couldn't even get to the beer, and it was 30-2. And I mean, like, I know you ain't got that many timeouts, but you got to slow that thing down, too. As far as the 500, and I'm a big Junior fan like everybody, but really, he don't really know how to drive that good. If he did, he'd have about 5 of them in the pocket. The last thing I'll say, too, Big Ten John brought this up earlier, and I don't know, I'm surprised he knew about it, that Teddy, he was the voice before Vernon Gosden. He was really kind of a champion hog caller down there in Tuscaloosa County until that unfortunate incident involving that duo. Thanks, Paul. For myself.
Thank you. David is calling next in Georgia.
Hey, old buddy. You
What's
sure
up?
do look good in that hog ad, man.
Ooh.
Pig suey.
I tell you what, I'll do it again. If Arkansas can beat Kentucky, if Arkansas beats Kentucky at Rupp, I'll do the biggest and the best woo pig sue you've ever seen.
Well, I'll probably come to the show and do it with you.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I got a couple of things I wanted to talk to you. Go ahead and do it, Paul.
Is it up and down?
Yeah, you got to go.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Hey.
Hey,
Do it. There you go.
Man, I'm ready. Give me some hogs.
Huh?
Man, I'm all in on the hogs.
Well, you need to be, old buddy. You got to be, because this is a year I think they're going to make some people surprised. Didn't play real well last Saturday, but they did now.
I like what I see.
Hey, buddy, I got to listen. I got to tell you this, though. I've been wanting to tell you this for a while. When you go over there to Alabama, to those lovely ladies that like to call Paul on TV, and you take them out to eat. Now, you know that you cannot take them to the Waffle House or to Crystal. I would suggest that you take them to the Green Top there on 78.
Oh, yeah.
Head to Jasper and give them one of them inside barbecues.
Green Top Barbecue. That's between what? That's before you get to Jasper, isn't it?
That is correct, sir, on your left. I tell you what, first time I stopped there, buddy of mine who still lives in Birmingham, he took me to that place, and I just went absolutely nuts over that.
No, that's some of the best barbecue ever.
It is. It reminds me, having grown up in Texas, like I told you in the past, Texas barbecue to me has always been the best, but I believe that just beat it right there, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, give me your opinion now on what's going to happen this week with the SEC basketball thing. I tell you what I see in regards to what a lot of teams don't do when they go up and play somebody like Kentucky. The Razorbacks have no fear of Kentucky. They've beaten them 4 out of 5 out of the last 5 ball games, which history does count to some degree because it's a mindset. And I see where Arkansas does something. I think I found the chink in Kentucky's armor, and that is they don't really play for each other. And you might say, well, what does that really mean? Well, I equate it to like being in a foxhole with your buddy and being shot at by the Vietnamese. The only buddy you can count on is that guy shooting right next to you doing the whole black heck he gets in before either one of you get. But I don't really think they play for each other. Now, that might sound corny, but that might be the edge of the hat. And 2, I'll say one thing. Kentucky will play their very best ball game against Arkansas because they know that if they don't, that kind of takes a little bit, of their stellar away from them. Kentucky fans are slap scared of Arkansas. They've always been.
Hold on a second. Repeat what you just said.
What?
You said Kentucky fans are slap scared of Arkansas.
That's exactly what I said. And I'll tell you why. Because they never sit there and they're talking about who they're playing this. They never mention Arkansas. Now, why is that, Paul?
Because they're slap scared?
I think they are slap.
Hey, help me out there. I mean, I grew up in Tennessee, but
I understand that.
What's the difference between slap scared and just scared?
Oh, that means slap scared means for somebody doesn't. If you turn your head, somebody's just going to knock fire from you.
Okay.
Slap.
That's different than being scared, like which is spelled SKEERRDD.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
Who better to talk to about the Cats, the #1 team in the country, and there's not even a #2. Well, actually, there is. Matt Jones joins us. Always good to catch up with Matt Jones from the Kentucky Sports Radio Network. And, Matt, I can only imagine the topic of conversation on your show every day. It's Kentucky and then some more Kentucky. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I was glad to hear that Arkansas fans think Kentucky fans are slap scared of the Razorbacks. I've never heard that expression, but it was a new one for me.
Yeah, a man called in, and he's not the only one. He said that Kentucky fans are slap scared of the Hogs, and I was going to say that. Didn't want to come out of the chute with a with a crowbar to the head here, Matt, but in the state of Kentucky, or the Commonwealth, I should say right now, are fans cowering? Are they running for the hills at the thought of this?
No, I think that's fair to say. You know, John Calipari is, in his career at Kentucky, he's 104 at Rupp Arena. He's lost 4 games in his entire time. Arkansas, now if that game was in Fayetteville, I think Kentucky fans would be nervous about it. But I think UK fans think if they play well, they'll win. And that's really, well, I think that's really the issue for Kentucky all year. Kentucky plays like it's supposed to. I'm not sure there's any team in the country that can beat them. And for a team like Arkansas, which is sort of a borderline top 25 team to win, especially in Rupp, then Kentucky's got to play a big part in that. They basically have to play poorly, which has happened, so it's not a gimme, but I don't think Kentucky fans are scared, even though Arkansas has played them well over the last few years.
Well, I wanted to ask about that, and I realize you're in Kentucky. I don't want to ask you to be the voice of Razorback country, but help us understand this rivalry. I mean, I know it's a heated rivalry on one side. I suspect people in Kentucky, when they draw up the list of bitter foes every year, you get Louisville and North Carolina and Indiana, and I guess the list is pretty long. Florida in the past. Where would Arkansas rate?
It would not rate. I think that's fair to say. I mean, now in the 90s, that would have been different. In the 90s, Arkansas was probably second to Louisville on the list of rivals. But I don't think Kentucky fans feel like that now. I mean, it would probably be Louisville 1. In certain parts of the state, Tennessee would maybe be second, and then you're looking at like Duke, Carolina, Indiana, and then Florida. I think those are probably the 6 schools that Kentucky fans feel some sort of rivalry towards. Arkansas should be consistently the second best basketball program in the SEC. They've had the history there. They've won the national championship. I mean, Florida's kind of been great in the last decade, but Arkansas has a history going back, as you know, the 70s, 80s, and then, of course, what Nolan did in the 90s. And it's actually sad sometimes to turn on an Arkansas game and see the arena half empty. Now, it's gotten better this year. But last year they beat Kentucky twice. The good thing they have is they got some big guys who are athletic, so that makes it to where Kentucky can't just physically dominate Arkansas like they did, for instance, Auburn on Saturday. So, Arkansas has a puncher's chance. I think they're the second best team in the SEC. And like I said, if that game was in Fayetteville, it's a whole different ball of wax. But in Rupp, I think it's going to be tough for them to win.
Well, at least until Saturday, Arkansas fans can talk about the last couple of games, and good for them. I mean, I think it's fun that someone thinks they can beat Kentucky, because you've looked harder than I have, but I really haven't found anything, at least in this part of the country. Let's look ahead, Matt. I mean, the schedule, we know about Arkansas. Then there's a trip to Georgia in the final week, which early on looked treacherous. Not anymore. You feel pretty comfortable Kentucky gets through this, and then the SEC tournament, I guess, is a little more mysterious, but probably not that much.
The game that I think is a little is a possible game to watch is the second game of the SEC tournament. Kentucky will play, right now it would be like either Florida or Tennessee in the first round, but in the second round, it right now projects to be the winner of Ole Miss and LSU. And those are the two teams that probably played Kentucky the best. And I could see a situation where if Kentucky's not watching, if they're not totally focused, for those two teams, a win, and they're probably in the NCAA tournament. They're kind of right there on the bubble. A win right there, and they're in. That could be a game I could see maybe slipping up, but you know how Nashville's going to be, Paul. They're going to be, it's going to be of the 20,000 fans, 18,000 are going to be Kentucky fans. If they are undefeated, the notion of wanting to go 40-0 is going to absolutely dominate that crowd. So it's hard to see them losing before the NCAA tournament. Not impossible. I mean, Arkansas could get them. At Georgia, the possibility. And then that game in the SEC tournament. But I just feel like, Calipari's wanted to do this his whole career. He's wanted to have a team like this that could go 40-0. They're so close to it right now, it's hard to see them letting off the gas.
Matt, what has it been like? Because, I hear from inside the Beltway that every game you start to pick up a few more stragglers from the media, the national media. So kind of describe the scene right now, and what do you foresee as we get closer to March?
Well, it's a circus around here. I mean, it's always sort of like there with football. It's always a circus in Kentucky for basketball, but this year is even more. I mean, Jay Billis said earlier this year to me, and I think he's right. He said this is maybe the biggest rock star team college basketball's had, maybe since the Leitner Duke team, and he may be right. I mean, the attention this team gets. I think about that Kentucky-Auburn game. Right, Auburn is terrible. And yet, if you watch ESPN leading up to that week, they acted like Kentucky-Auburn was the biggest game that had ever happened. They got a Nelly song out of hockey to do a promo for 30 seconds about it, and it was all Kentucky. This has been sort of like a traveling circus. And I'm not saying that we've never seen it before, but I don't know if I've ever seen it at this level. At these games, it's kind of unbelievable. And I think Kentucky fans, one of the good things is I do think a lot of people are sort of recognizing this might not ever happen again. I mean, UK is going to be good as long as Calipari's here. But I don't know if they'll ever be like this. A combination of a good start, a team that had some veterans, the SEC being down, has made it to where, they can legitimately go undefeated and remove Bobby Knight, who people in Kentucky despise, get him out of the list of last school to do it. I think people really think, hey, this is the possibility for history.
Yeah, and I think, listen, I don't need to tell you, you're already there at ground zero, but it's going to continue. I mean, already this week, a game at Mississippi State, I was talking to some people around the office, and, we know what that game realistically will be, but the attention, because Kentucky's playing, is going to get ratcheted up. And then Saturday, I would imagine ESPN, that doesn't hurt. Oh, is it CBS? I can't remember which one it is. I think it's CBS, isn't it?
Yeah, CBS. The Arkansas
it doesn't matter.
2 Saturdays or CBS.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly, it just gets bigger and bigger. And like you said, the college basketball hasn't had much of this in recent years because of the one and done. So I think everyone is about to embrace it full board, and to say the least, 3 weeks from today, we'll be knocking on the door of the NCAA basketball tournament, and there's no stopping it.
It's kind of bizarre to me, Paul, and I'll grant you, I'm here in the middle of it. But, it's been in the last week or two that we've heard the Pac-10 commissioner and then the Big Ten commissioner and then the Iowa State AD do this whole, well, you know what we need? We need to have freshmen sit out, especially in basketball and football. Now, I think that's a ridiculous viewpoint for a lot of reasons. But it's also a bizarre time to say this. I mean, isn't what's happening right now with Kentucky great for college basketball? I mean, it's great in terms of the attention it's bringing, the entertainment. And you've watched this team, Paul. This is a fun team to watch. This is a team that shares the basketball. They have 9 McDonald's All-Americans, basically, all of whom have agreed to play 25 minutes or less. That doesn't happen. Here's a statistic. SEC Player of the Week. Kentucky's undefeated and has not had an SEC Player of the Week the entire conference season because they don't play enough minutes for it to happen. I would think people who like basketball and people who like college sports would say, isn't that what college sports is supposed to be? A group of guys sacrificing to the team, yada, yada, yada. And instead, now's the time that these sort of curmudgeons say, well, now we need to make people sit out their freshman year. I just don't get it.
In the event, or the unlikely event, I should say, Matt, that Kentucky loses, you don't know how a team was going to react. And with the national championship still around the corner, what's your best guess on the reaction?
Well, I think they'll be fine either way. I mean, for me, and I think the team, the next 4 games in the SEC tournament are kind of for history. Are you going to have a chance to go after history? I don't think for the tournament it's going to make one bit of difference either way. They're still going to be the number 1 seed. They're probably still going to be the number 1 overall seed. So I don't think it really matters. A more interesting question is, okay, what if this team went in undefeated and then, let's say, lost in the Elite Eight or lost in the Final Four? How do you look at the season then? And that's tougher because people's expectations here are so high that it's not, you hate to say national championship or bust, but it kind of is. I mean, people have been looking at this since August when this team played in the Bahamas and they looked so good, thinking this team can go 40-0. And now they're closer and closer. If they go into the tournament and they go in the Elite Eight and there's 37-0, and let's say Wisconsin is the Elite Eight game, there's just going to be so much pressure, not so much on the players, but really the fans. They're just going to be as stressed out, I know, as anybody can be.
Yeah, that's Bill Belichick. He had the first perfect season since the Dolphins in '72 a couple of years ago and lost the Super Bowl, and no one remembers that team at all. It is devastating. Matt, thanks. We'll obviously be in touch and really appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks, Paul.
Wow, what a story. Matt Jones, a front row seat to Kentucky's quest for history.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
Seth Greenberg, the ESPN college basketball analyst, also a newcomer to College Game Day, joins us. And Seth, you've had quite a year. How are you enjoying game day, being on the court, being pretty much everywhere there is to be in college basketball?
Life is good. It beats working for a living. I thought Finebaum and Greenberg, we should be a law firm.
Only personal injury cases.
No, it's been great. I mean, these people have been so good to me. I've had a chance to see some of the best teams in the country in great environments. I love college basketball, whether I was coaching my own team or I'm around it. It's been a blast. As you know, the great thing about working here at ESPN is you work with great people, and they really genuinely care about helping you be the best you can be. So I'm having a blast.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you always run into former coaches or coaches between jobs, and sometimes they seem lost. I've run into you a number of times. I didn't know you that well as a coach, but you seem a little bit happier than you used to be. I guess not having to deal with the bubble is a good time.
Yeah, this time of the year was pretty stressful. I mean, if I wanted to be miserable, I'll get back into coaching. But there's a great high with coaching. To put together a plan and see if it materializes to help change people's lives, help people grow and mature and develop. And coaching is a very rewarding profession. Not without its demands. This job is different. I feel like I'm coaching the fan. Maybe sometimes they agree with me, sometimes they don't agree with me. But if I can't have fun doing this, then it's my problem. It's not anyone else's problem because, if you're going to be miserable, you might as well go back into coaching.
Yeah, well, there are plenty of miserable coaches in coaching right now. You see them every week. It's hard to talk about anything other than Kentucky, and I realize you go someplace different every week. This week, a couple of places. But talk about what you've seen both on film and up close with the University of Kentucky, and how do you assess their chances to make it to 40-0?
The amazing thing is I think they're getting better, and that's a scary thing for the rest of college basketball. They've really improved offensively, John. But, everyone talks about the players you have. And, everyone has players. Not everyone has the number of great players they have. But there's obstacles when you're coaching such a great team in terms of individual players. And that's figured out how you can put each player in position to play to their strengths. And I think what John's really done a great job of, especially in the last 2-3 weeks, is he's putting his guys in position to play their strengths. They have improved dramatically in the half court. Their half court execution has always been good at the end of games, but now their execution, just the Auburn game as an example. They're running this little flex cross screen action or flex rollback action. They are executing it and screening people and shaping and presenting themselves. They're out in transition. They're skipping the ball side to side, which moves the defense. Posting it, kicking it out, knocking down threes. The one question everyone had about Kentucky is they knew their defense was great. Would their offense ever catch up to their defense? And their offense is catching up to the defense, which is a little dangerous for the rest of college basketball.
Seth, you've done some of their games. Obviously, you had a very memorable sit down with Cal a few weeks ago for Sunday Conversation. Just talk about John Calipari for a moment. Where is he right now? I mean, other than a really good place in his career, and this quest for perfection, was it a smart thing to embrace it like he has?
Yeah, I've known Cal for 35 years, and we're good friends. And that whole quest for perfection, it really started last year. It was taken a little out of context last year, because last year the comment basically was, "Hey, why wouldn't we want to win every game?" And then it's kind of got blown up. Someone started with the T-shirts and. It became a thing. And no one plays the Big Blue Nation better than John Calipari. I mean, the Big Blue Nation, if he's a drug addict, the Big Blue Nation is his drug. And that's just the way it is. And he feeds off of it. He calls them crazy, but he loves their craziness. But, yeah, I think that this team has a chance to be historic. Do they have a chance to be the best team in the history of basketball? No, I don't think so. But they have a chance to do something historic? Without a doubt. I think they are marching towards making that a reality. I'd say 3 or 4 teams that potentially can be roadblocks and detours, but they're playing better now. So, yeah, it drives them. John Calipari is a very prideful guy. He wants to do special things. He doesn't put limitations on himself. He doesn't put limitations on his players. So, yeah, do I think this drives him? Yeah, but the more it drives him, the more he deflects the pressure from his team because he takes on that pressure and kind of, I guess, keeps his team away from the action. So he's got a great group, and they've got a legitimate chance about making this happen.
Seth, back in the day, there was always a cliche among coaches who were undefeated. You want to get that loss out of the way, but that's not the case here. Do you think it adds any more pressure, or is this team, because it's Kentucky, because it's Big Blue Nation, has enough pressure on them as opposed to trying to go 40-0?
I don't think it adds any pressure to them. I really don't. I think that when you sign up to go to Kentucky, this is what you sign up for. All right? You sign up to be under a microscope. You sign up in the biggest game on everyone else's schedule. You sign up for the pressure. You sign up for Cal challenging you each and every day. So, hey, these kids are competitive. And they play so many games, throughout their career. They want to be part of something historic, but they don't look at it as pressure. The thing that impresses me about this team is their voice. When you talk to Karl Anthony Towns, you talk to Devin Booker, you talk to Tyler Eulis, you talk to Trey Lyles, you talk to even the twins, you talk to Willie Cauley-Stein. Nothing much affects those guys. I mean, they're doing their thing. I mean, they practice really, really hard. They're under, pressure of Cal is greater than the pressure of being undefeated. Because they don't stay on track. I mean, he is on them. And everyone looks at him going off. They think it's in a negative way. Like, I sat right behind the bench at that Tennessee game. And he went after Andrew Harrison. Everyone thought he was getting on him in a negative way. You know what he was talking about? How good he was and how, you're better than this. Attack, be aggressive, be confident, make plays. Now, he was doing it with a lot of passion. But it wasn't a verbal attack of negativity. It was actually like, you're a great player. Go out and just play. Make plays. Be aggressive. And I think that's the one thing. He's the most misunderstood, probably, coaching icon in that he's a passionate coach and teacher. He works his tail off. All the stuff about his players is pretty much on mark. The guy loves his players and spends a lot of time with them. But, like anyone else, we all have flaws. Cal has flaws like anyone else.
Seth, in the SEC, Arkansas fans are really fired up about this game at Rupp. This is a program that looks like it's finally returning after a long walk in the wilderness. Your assessment of Arkansas and the rest of the contenders outside of Kentucky in the SEC, the contenders, I guess, for second place.
Yeah, I like this Arkansas team. I mean, I think they're more of Mike's liking. They're a very good passing team with. It's funny, we always talk about Arkansas, and everyone talks about the pressure and the athletes. That was 17 assists a game. I mean, Mike's teams have always been pretty good passing teams. They're extremely athletic. Portis gives them a front court guy that can make plays and also step out. Michael Quarles is a freakish athlete. I really think, a lot of it is going to come down to, the other guys. Madden, can he handle the ball and make good decisions and not get turned over? Can he get sped up? Anton Beard, can he do the same when he gets in the game? And then, can they get in the lane and drive it and not try to get to the rim every time, but get in the lane and drive it, kick it, and then make the next pass? Because the second pass is what gets you the best shot against Kentucky, not the first pass. So defensively, I think that they'll extend their defense, but you can't give Kentucky too much open floor to play because when they throw over the top of pressure, they're always attacking, and that guys will get finished. But Arkansas has confidence. They beat them twice last year, so they're going to have confidence. I like Arkansas. LSU just in the tournament, they've got 2 lottery picks. They're going to be a factor if they can get consistent, good guard play. If Tim Quarterman can handle the ball and Hornsby can make some shots, and Greatest doesn't get sped up. I mean, they're a team that can pose them problems. I mean, there's no doubt about it. My concern for the SEC, and I know Joe Lunardi's got more teams in than I've been for him, is I look at the league, and then I say, well, who has wins against the field? Like, Georgia's still in the mix, all right? Do they have a non-conference win against the field? No, they don't. So there's 2 wins against the field, or Texas A&M and Ole Miss, right? So, I mean, that's all they have to show on the resume. And I think Mark Fox is a terrific coach, and they run great offense. But as you look at the league, my concern is teams that don't have enough wins against the field or teams that have bad losses. I still think they're going to get 5 teams in. I don't see a 6. And 5 might be a push.
Great stuff from Seth Greenberg. Seth, really appreciate your time. We'll talk soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
You got it. Great stuff from Seth Greenberg.
Thank you for listening to the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast. Tune into the Paul Finebaum Show every day from 3 to 7 Eastern on the SEC Network or on the ESPN radio app.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.